Hello, today I'm here as a part of Inspiring Better Business. And we're going to talk about taking ownership. You know, our videos and our teachings are really strongly focused on ownership. We're not here as a technical training center where we might teach you how to cook or sew or weld. We're not even here to teach about managing, like leadership and how to be a better shop manager or foreman or something. These are all very important things, but we're here primarily to teach about ownership and how you can become an owner, starting small, growing step by step, and grow into something that's significant enough that you're actually hiring and employing other people. You see, there's no, without ownership, without entrepreneurship, without a business, then there's no need to hire the technical people or those that we call managers or gift of administration, because they'd have nothing to do. Many times we have tech schools in developing nations, and we teach people to weld and sew and build things with their hands. When they graduate, there's just no job. So there's responsibilities that come with ownership. And in this discussion, I'd like to just share that there are three major responsibilities, I've already alluded to them, that you need to identify in order to actually have a good, solid company. So as mentioned, number one of those is identifying those people that are gifted in the technical aspect of your business. In my case, I have had in my first business, I had people that were able and skilled at driving large trucks. I had a trucking company, and they had to be taught how to drive the truck. We had to get a license to drive these trucks because they're very big trucks. And we talked the technical things because we were moving furniture, how to load the furniture so that you didn't scratch it, and you didn't scratch the floor, you didn't scratch the walls, that you didn't cause a problem with the customer, and you knew how to collect the monies. And so that's a technical thing. On our current business, I have machinists, and so we make metal parts. And how do we make the metal parts is a skill that's learned, and somebody that learns what we do and have the skill sets over a period of time, they can get a job anywhere in the United States, because there's always a job for those that are in the technical side of making metal parts. Take somebody that's in a foreign country and you decide that you want to have a wedding cake. You want to make wedding cakes. Well, somebody has to be the cook, knows how to put the ingredients in, know what the temperatures are, know how to decorate. Those are the technical things. And at the beginning of your ownership, you probably will need to be is for sure on your first business, not gifted necessarily, but capable of understanding the technical side. But at some point, you'll probably discover that there's other people even more gifted than you, and you need to move over to something else, because you can't do everything. You'll have to be willing to train somebody and trust them and guide them into systems and processes so that you can manage now. That would be another level. Many people that are doing the technical. I have a friend that's making jewelry, and they're making jewelry in the country of Zambia. And so there's a number of ladies in this case that are making jewelry. So they have a training for these young people, they're ladies primarily, that are capable of making the jewelry. They're creating that system. Now, in all of these examples, the next, I call it a level, but it's not a priority level, but it's just a reality. You have to have people that will manage. And that's somebody I call in the Word of God, the gift of administration. But there's also the need for the gift of administration as outlined when we talk about the person Joseph. Joseph was never owned a thing. He only administered the wealth of first Potiphar's household. He was sold as a slave, came in from below ground zero. He was a slave. But through his gifting of administration and managing, somehow, we don't know the details, he rose through the ranks and became in charge of absolutely everything Potiphar had. And then later on, he was lied about, he was put away, not fair to him. We're going to have things that aren't fair to us. Well, there's an example. It wasn't fair. But he started over in the dungeon, and whatever happened, he rose to the top by administrating the things in the dungeon to the level that he was in charge of everything. And you know what? Over a period of time and a series of events, he's now to the position of managing the wealth of the world under Pharaoh. Everything was under his control. What a great example. So you as an owner have to have some technical skills, at least to able to identify and get someone in that position. Then you have to have some management skills or administration skills. But once again, you would want to get somebody in that position because you are called as the owner to some more important things. Now, these have to go all simultaneously as you grow, but one of those is the spiritual aspect of your business. You see, as owner, you could be working hard, or as even any person could work hard to have things in order, but then if you don't acknowledge the spiritual side, you won't have the fullness of what I think God would have for you. This morning, in fact, in our local church, our pastor read these words, and so I'll give him credit, Pastor Whitney George from Church on the Move, and he says, "You will never accomplish God's purpose in your life apart from God's power in your life." You're going to have God's power in your life to really succeed. Let me explain. You see, somebody can own a business and do it without God, and they will gain some level of success. They can actually gain quite a bit of success and quite a bit of money, quite a bit of wealth. They can actually be quite rich with what appears to be God's not involved. Well, I tell you, they don't realize it, but they learned one way or another the laws of business and applied them in a natural sense with the natural parts of ability, accounting and management and leadership and things, but they left God out of the picture. But what you want is to have God right in the center of all this, because there's a lot of things that money can't buy. And money is just a part of your life. Money cannot buy a happy marriage. Do you know how many businesses rose to some level of wealth and success, and because of other things in their life, there's a divorce or strife at home, and this whole thing maybe doesn't go into the ground with nothing, but it certainly is affected when there's a divorce. And I'm not down on divorce. I'm just saying that's a fact. You know, there's other things like raising your children, and sometimes the next generation needs to know that there's God in their life so that they can have a happy life, because many wealthy people can come without God and their next generation be a mess. There's also the issue of health. How are we going to have, there's certain things that wealth and money can't buy in our health. So without the Spirit of God, we'll never accomplish God's purpose in our life apart from God's power in our life. And there's a whole study on learning how the Spirit of God works in our life, will guide us and direct us, and that's what we want. We want that leadership from God in a way that works in harmony with these other two aspects. There's another pastor that talks very openly about that. It's a combination of applying our natural, God-given gifts plus the power of God, it's kind of saying the same thing, together unleashes a mighty force and success. So we want the whole package. I want you to have the whole package. I'm working towards it. I'm always working. I'm not arrived. I'm not perfect. I'm not making everything sound like I've got it all together. I'm just saying that's our goal, is to have a complete company, a complete view of life, so that you enjoy with life with peace and harmony with God and mankind. Thanks for being a part of Inspiring Better Business.